Good evening, dear Kuwait television viewers, and welcome to another new episode of your weekly program, Kuwait in 30 Minutes. The English News and Political Programs Department has prepared a variety of reports that highlight the main events that have recently taken place across Kuwait. Our committed team of reporters is constantly engaged in numerous events with the objective of keeping you, dear viewers, aware of the latest information, regulations and policies. Our aim is to help you obtain information on the latest developments at the local scene. So stay tuned for more coming your way this evening. In our first item tonight, Kuwait Oil Company or KOC recently delivered a special quarantine area to the Ministry of Health to host Kuwaiti students who were living abroad and returned home during the recent evacuation operations. The quarantine located in Bar al-Ratqa would accommodate more than 700 students and has been equipped with the necessary medical equipment. Our reporter Hadil Fahad has more in this report.
A quarantine in Bar al-Ratqa and Al-Abdili area, specifically on the KOC site, designated for students coming from abroad. It can accommodate more than 700 students and is fully equipped.
We have all the facilities here to cover emergency cases, and we have the ability to check for patient every day, or check for the resident here every day for their vital signs and follow their needs, their medical needs. If anyone need any medication, it's available here and provided. For all the emergencies, we have all the equipment to deal with emergencies, and we can send deal with the emergencies, and then we can send them to the hospital where they can follow the whole medical treatment.
Medical clinics and rooms in fully equipped and decorated with flowers to comfort its residents during their 2 weeks quarantine period.
We have here 3 clinics for nursing side. We are giving 24-hour nursing care for quarantine patient here. So we have Clinic A, Clinic B, and Clinic C. We have daily round, check the vital signs and temperature and follow up the patient that we needed.
A mechanism is set for transporting arrivals, examining them, and transporting them to this site for a period of 2 weeks, which is the period of quarantine. From Al-Abdili area, this is Hadil Fahad reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes.
The Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research has completed the first stage of designing and manufacturing respiratory filters and PPE protective clothing to counter the coronavirus COVID-19. Protective masks and protection boxes were also produced for the medical staff of the Ministry of Health, who would provide medical care with a special design and a new innovative way. Our reporter Hadil Fahad has more in this report.
Machines and equipment were used to make protective masks according to 3D technology, which supplied quarantines, doctors and volunteers to confront coronavirus COVID-19. The manufacture of protective masks in Kuwait Institute for Scientific enters several stages, and 50 masks and produces per day.
What we're doing is we're making face shields. These are created through products that are found in the local market here. At the current state, the ones that are being produced here, there are around 500 being produced on a daily basis. Also, another thing that we're producing is something called an intubation box, which is pretty much a shield.
The factory at the Research Institute operates hands to provide ministries and the staff of different shapes and sizes. The fabric passes through machines in a geometric way to reach one stage after another until it reaches distribution. Reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadi El Fahad.
The state of Kuwait vigorously followed through its obligation and promise to bring Kuwaiti citizens from abroad amid the COVID-19 crisis. The third phase involved mainly Kuwaiti students living in the United States and the United Kingdom who were brought home on board of the Kuwait Airways and Al Jazeera Airlines. Hadi El Fahad has more details in this report.
On the third phase, Kuwait International Airport continues its effort to receive citizens from abroad, in which Al Jazeera Airways participates with Kuwait Airways in evacuating Kuwaiti citizens abroad.
We were involved with many of the government entities and emergency working groups, which included the Foreign Ministry, the Interior Ministry, the Ministry of Health, and so on, in preparing the evac plan or the repatriation of our Kuwaiti nationals back into Kuwait.
Several steps are taken upon the arrival of the citizen.
We have around 40 doctors and dentists staying in the third hall. They do the swabs for the passenger, and once they're done, we take them inside the airport where they finish the immigration and they take their baggage and they can go home.
Since the beginning of the crisis, the state has taken all measures and made intensive efforts through the various sectors of the state in order to confront COVID-19. From Kuwait International Airport, Terminal 4, this is Hadi El Fahad reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes.
At Kuwait International Airport, everyone works and makes all efforts to facilitate the return of citizens stranded abroad as part of the state's evacuation plan. It's more evident through the Ministry of Health, which harnesses all its capabilities for the safety of citizens before joining their families. Once again, Hadi El Fahad has more details in this report.
Dentists, who have no less importance than other specialties, showed heroism and were present at Kuwait International Airport to provide their humanitarian duty and to confront COVID-19. They worked non-stop as a beehive to confront the pandemic.
Dentists are playing an important role in the organization and the Shlonic application process. Me, myself, I'm working in the registration.
Dentists are in the front lines, where they lovingly receive the citizen coming from abroad to perform the necessary examination before going to their home or institutional quarantine.
It's my pleasure to work here as a dentist in this very tremendous, great work as an evacuation to bring all of the citizens back from abroad to Kuwait.
Efforts are made by everyone, hand by hand, to confront the virus. Reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadi El Fahad.
And in the following report, the Ministry of Public Works recently prepared a quarantine area considered the biggest of its type in Kuwait, consisting of field hospitals and medical clinics, as well as specialized wards to treat patients of COVID-19. Our reporter Hadi El Fahad has more details in this report.
A scene shows the government mobilization of all country sectors facing COVID-19, and this time by the biggest quarantine in the country, quarantine of Ministry of Public Works. All the government sectors and the official bodies working hard and together to pass this crisis.
This quarantine was established on a total area of 125,000 quarter meters with 4 stages, each stage with 1,200 beds and with a capacity of 5,000 beds. These stages will be delivered upon a stage every 1 week. We achieved that within 10 days, and we will deliver the full quarantine, which will be the biggest quarantine established in a short period, and a place was allocated for the Ministry of Interior and the General Directorate of Fire and the nursing staff.
Ministry of Health by its medical staff quickly undertake the quarantine immediately after its preparation to stop the increasing numbers of cases. Reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadil Fahad.
Al Jazeera Airlines, cooperating with the Ministry of Health and with the participation of the General Directorate of Fire and Civil Aviation, recently provided a drive-in testing for COVID-19. More details with our reporter Hadil Fahad.
Service of a quick examination of COVID-19 by CARS examination is considered one of the best efforts to face COVID-19.
Regarding the drive-in test, we offer as an airline, Jazeera Airways, we offer the MOH a huge land and space to use for the test and the drive for the next 3 months.
Ministry of Health continues its efforts facing COVID-19 through providing the trained medical staff in this center.
Large facility testing center, which is near Jazeera headquarters in front of Amiri terminal, that will open soon in order to provide to all population the possibility to test the COVID-19 and have immediately the result from Ministry of Health.
Efforts are still done by various government authorities and the private sectors so as to apply all the precautionary measures, ensuring security and safety of citizens and residents from COVID-19. This is Hadil Fahad reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes.
In view of the global epidemiological health situation regarding the prevalence of the emerging coronavirus COVID-19, the Decommunication Unit of the Naval Forces has sterilized Mishrif Co-op as precaution measures using some of the most advanced technologies and equipment. The mission was to ensure that all buildings, facilities and laborers were clear of the virus and to secure the safety of customers. Hadil Fahad has more in this report.
Kuwait witnessed during the crisis of COVID-19 the best examples of volunteers, especially in societies. These youth raised flag of dedication in serving their home. But the winds come not like the ships, as however the precautionary measures. Some societies declared closing its markets for sterilization after finding confirmed infection cases among volunteers.
If any volunteer in the society gets infected, the society closes directly for sterilization. After that, the society opens and that infected volunteer is isolated and the close contacts are checked.
Alternative plan in most societies. For their safety, volunteers will be dispensed with.
The volunteers have given us great support in the beginning of this corona
crisis, and we have asked them to stand by for their security and for the others, for public security as well, till we check if everything is going well with them. Then we may ask them back to support us, or we may ask them to stay home, and that's it for them. Yeah.
Sterilization included most cooperative societies, seeking workers and visitors' safety with modern techniques and new certified equipment by the World Health Organization. Reporting to Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadil Fahad.
The evacuation of Kuwaiti citizens stranded abroad has ended. The operation was launched on April 19th upon the directions of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, and included 4 phases. Our reporter Hadil Fahad brings us the whole story in this report.
The evacuation of Kuwaiti citizens stranded abroad is ending last night. The evacuation was launched on 19 of April under the direction of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, as it included 4 phases. The first phase was for the citizens in GCC countries. The second for citizens in Arab countries in addition to Ankara and Istanbul, and the third phase for the citizens in the United Kingdom and the United States of America.
There is 29, almost 29,000 Kuwaiti came back to Kuwait from 58 destinations. Alhamdulillah, all the Kuwaitis and all the employees in the Ministry of Health, including dentists, nurses, doctors, as well from emergency department, and everybody. It's a collective work that was performed in an excellent way. Alhamdulillah, there was no problem. We have diagnosed on arrival 118 case positive of COVID-19 coming from these flights. Alhamdulillah, all these patients are in the hospital receiving treatment, necessarily treatment, and the rest of the Kuwaitis are home as well in their home quarantine. There is 3,900 that opt to be in institutional quarantine, and there is 710 Kuwaitis being sent by mandatory quarantine, institutional quarantine.
The fourth phase was for the evacuation of students coming from Canada, Australia, and other 5 cities from the United States. The evacuation was by Etihad Airways and Qatar Airlines, in which they participated with Kuwait Airways and Al Jazeera Airways to evacuate citizens from abroad.
Actually, first of all, because I'm Kuwaiti, I'm proud to bring the Kuwaitis back to Kuwait. And also, which really surprised me, the Ministry of Health, they are so precise with checking every single passenger and keeping the distance, social distance, and what I can see from everybody, that everybody is listen and pay attention to Ministry of Health.
Where the Ministry of Interior, the General Fire Department, Civil Aviation, Ministry of Health, charitable societies, volunteers who are playing an important role in this crisis, and various sectors of the state participated with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to assure success to this process.
It was a long process, but thankfully, everybody chipped in. We had a good experience. All the passengers were cooperative, and it was a nice experience getting everyone back home for this holy month, and we were glad to help out.
Everyone who registered on the platform We Are With You, which was created by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is coming back to its homeland safely. After this evacuation and this process, and in this holy month of Ramadan, we ask Allah to protect our country and everyone who live in its soil. From Kuwait International Airport, this is Hadil Fahad.
attempt to bolster the medical stockpiles in Kuwait. A shipment recently arrived from China carrying medical equipment and supplies as well as machines that can manufacture masks. More details in the following report.
The Public Authority of Industry and Kuwait Foundation for the Advancement of Scientific participated in the delivery of medical supplies, including gloves, surgical guns, and face shields for use by Kuwaiti health professionals as a part of the foundation's efforts in the emergency response program to reduce the growing threat of the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak.
This is the seventh shipment coming from China through this week. But before that, we had also shipments. We started about like a week ago doing an air bridge from China to Kuwait. Those are government shipments. Of course, we dedicated those airplanes to the need of the government first, before the commercial. Of course, the shipment, as usual, we have masks and we have factories, and we have also factories.
In this crisis, everyone provides their continued support to the government to confront this pandemic. Reporting to Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadi Fahad.
And in the following report, the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Mohammed Al-Jabri, confirmed that agricultural food stocks are available in large quantities. This statement came during his inspection tour of the Andalus vegetable market with the Kuwaiti Farmers Union. The following report brings us more details.
The Minister of Information and the Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Mohammed Nasser Al-Jabri, made an inspection tour of the Andalus vegetable market, accompanied by the Kuwaiti Farmers Union in light of the circumstances witnessed by the country and the outbreak of the coronavirus COVID-19 and people panicking from food stocks feeding, where he assured citizens and residents of the availability of all basic needs with regard to the agriculture sector.
Every day we have the same quantity, the same quality of these products daily from this place in Ittihad al-Muzari'in, and we will find it in Wafir, the same and the same quantity. So don't be afraid and don't be panic from losing or not having this products.
We were, in a normal situation as before, because the minister and this industrial ministry, they all limited the prices. Everything is right now okay, but even some import vegetables we are getting very, very cheaper than before 1 month ago.
With more than 3,000 producing farms in Kuwait for more than 30 varieties, in which they arrive daily to the Andalus market alongside the other sale points as Slabiya. This is Hadi Fahad reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes.
The Customs Administration is working to organize the reception of goods from air shipments as part of the efforts to overcome the crisis caused by the spread of the coronavirus. The Airways Cargo Department recently confirmed that it continues to receive air cargoes from various countries. More details in the following report.
In light of the suspension of air traffic for incoming and outgoing flights to Kuwait International Airport, the Airway Cargo Department is still continuing its services to receive food, medicine, and others.
In light of the current conditions in Kuwait, in an attempt to restrict the virus spread, the Air Customs Administration began operating according to what was issued by the Council of Ministers. It imposed a contingency plan and precaution plans to control the spread of the virus. The state of Kuwait is still receiving incoming shipments and sending outgoing goods to the countries from all over the world. Goods received from all countries of the world were dealt with one credibility, meaning that airport ground handling services were mandated to sterilize and disinfect all shipments while delivering them to their owners, and the same is true for exports. All employees are forced to take known precautions and handle goods more professionally. On behalf of the Kuwait General Administration of Customs, we thank the work of everyone who was a gateway to preserve the health of citizens and residents on the homeland.
Great efforts are being made from various agencies with the aim of combating the coronavirus. Everyone works in his sector for the safety of citizens and residents from the coronavirus. Reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadil Fahad.
The Ministry of Health continued its medical examinations of the arrivals as part of the ministry's efforts to contain the spread of the coronavirus. The Kuwait Exhibition Fair received arrivals from the capital governorate to take the necessary measures. More details in the following report.
On the seventh day, the Ministry of Health received arrivals from Al Asima Governorate and those who came from traveling to carry out the necessary medical examinations to ensure the safety of arrivals and that they were safe from the coronavirus.
I came from India on 2nd of March, and I'm here to just do a testing if I am fine or not. I have been already under 14 days quarantine, and everything is fine as of now. I don't have any symptoms, and the arrangement which MOH has done is really very nice. I thank MOH and this country to do such an arrangement. It is really very nice. Hats off to them, and always.
We came back from India, from Kerala. We came back on the 6th of March. So we had gone to different clinics for the checkup, but it was not organized. So I couldn't be to any clinic. I had gone to 5 clinics, but finally I came to know about this system here, which is happening, and it's really good, amazing. The crowd was very big in the beginning, but now it's come down a lot, and the procedures are very organized.
A large medical staff is on the front lines to examine arrivals and be at service. The Ministry of Health is making great efforts to reduce the spread of this global epidemic, and the Ministry of Interior organizes the safe entry of arrivals. Reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadil Fahad.
Well, this brings us to the conclusion of tonight's episode of Kuwait in 30 minutes. We hope to see you again same time next week. Our highly dedicated team of correspondents is constantly out on the field searching for reports that matter most to you. Thank you for joining us tonight and see you next week.